and so that we have this recording available on YouTube as well, as we have other classes. So yeah, when I get time, I'll definitely put this on my YouTube channel. I know it's been a while. There are so many pending classes which I should have uploaded, but you know, just didn't get a chance. So I'll just try to take care of that during this weekend. Anyway, so this particular topic, this is very, one of the very core responsibilities of a business analyst, and this is something which you as a BA may or may not, of course, I mean, depending on the nature of your role, depending on the nature of your project, depending also on the nature of the entity you end up working for. Okay, so depends on all those situations. You may or may not be involved in this, but it's very likely that you will be. Okay, and when I say it's very likely, the term likely definitely is based on the fact that when you are working in healthcare, it's all about data. Okay, it's all and all about data. Okay, and data just doesn't reside in one source or at one source. It's always exchanged. Exchanged between whom? Exchanged between entities. Now, what kind of entities are we talking about? And first of all, who are we exchanging data with? Who are we, first of all? Well, we can be any healthcare entity, any, let's say, health insurance company, or a hospital chain, or any healthcare entity, right? So whatever healthcare entity we end up working for, I mean, we the BAs or you the BA, you will be exchanging data with lots of other external entities, okay, outside your organization. And when you exchange data with these people, you have to keep in mind a number of things. Okay, you cannot just assume that this is the format of the data and everybody will be sending data in this format, so let's go ahead. No, a lot of groundwork has to be laid first. You guys need to understand this very carefully, that as a business analyst, it is your core responsibility to establish the groundwork for any kind of data exchange between the firm or the client you work for and its external vendors. Now, who are these vendors? I'll give you some examples. And data goes in both directions. Don't get me wrong. It's not that you'll be only receiving data. You may end up sending data. And that is one of the, as I said, very core responsibilities of a business analyst. Now, and I'll show you some examples of data. Rather, I want to discuss EDI 834 today. And I just don't want to just go over the actual format of 834, because 834 is a really simple file. Okay, and you guys by now have good experience with 837s. And 837 is the most complicated one, as you may know. It's all claims data and a lot of data in there. So compared to 837, 834 is nothing. Okay, but I'll still show you how it looks, how it is structured, how it looks like, and all that stuff. No big deal. But anyways, before we actually dig into the specifics of that data, let's go through certain situations and terms, and then I'll show you that actual format. Now, when I said you'll be exchanging data, or you as a business analyst will be sending and receiving data, who are those entities? Who are you sending data to? Who are you receiving data from? In many cases, it's the government. Okay, it's the government. You are sending data to the government. You are a healthcare entity. Let's say you're working for Blue Cross Blue Shield. You'll be sending a lot of data to the government so that they know what kind of claims and what kind of data or what kind of healthcare activities your company is involved with. Okay, because healthcare is very closely monitored. It's very regulated. Now, I'm not saying that every activity your company involves in, or any kind of situation your company is involved in, or any kind of healthcare claim you have processed by your company, you have to send it to the government. No, it's not that. But many times government would expect healthcare entities to share data with them, which you will have to do so. And many examples can be like, for example, DHHS. or some states have HHS or DHHS. If you want me to further expand this, this is Department of Health and Human Services. Okay, pretty much every state has one, DHHS or HHS. They also operate the Medicaid. They are also responsible for Medicaid, and they are also responsible for other healthcare policies. Okay, so DHHS, and then CMS is Center for Medicaid and Medicare Services. Now you must be wondering why it's not CMMS. No, it's CMS, but Center for Medicaid and Medicare Services. This CMS is part of the federal government. Okay, they administer, or rather they come up with all the regulations. Obamacare and HIPAA related regulations, or ICD regulation, ICD 9 to 10 upgrade, they all come from CMS. Okay, and then third party administrators. Third party administrators. What are third party administrators? Let's say you're working for a health insurance company. Okay, so there will be other third party administrators who manage eligibility, for example. Okay, let's say Microsoft. So for example, Microsoft. Okay, Microsoft says that, look, we have 50,000 employees. Okay, we have 50,000 employees and we want to buy insurance for 50,000 employees. And we don't want to buy just any plan for our members. We want a dedicated plan for only Microsoft. Okay, this is called self-insured plan. I will discuss this term in future, but they just don't go to any insurance company and say, hey, you know what? We want to buy insurance for our employees. They don't do that. They manage their own insurance. Okay, in certain sense, they just manage their own insurance. They create their own plan for their own employees. So in such cases, when they want to enroll their members with the health insurance company, or when they want somebody to manage the data for their own employees, because it's a huge number, 50,000 employees, that enrollment or the management of their data is taken care of by a third party. You know what I mean? Let me repeat this. It may not make sense. I understand that you're not very familiar with healthcare industry. When people like you and me want to buy insurance, we just go to Blue Cross Blue Shield. When there is a small company with 50 employees, they just go to Blue Cross Blue Shield and buy their insurance for their employees. But when it comes to huge companies like Microsoft and Google and Coca-Cola and all these big corporations, they just don't go to the health insurance company and buy a certain plan. Okay, they kind of create their own insurance company. What they say is, okay, you know what we're going to do? For every employee, we're going to put together, set aside this amount of money. Per employee, this amount of money. And then whenever anyone gets sick, use this fund and just pay off the bill. Okay, so these are self-insured plans. Microsoft is not buying insurance plan from Blue Cross Blue Shield. They just put their money aside for every employee every year, or every month, and then use it as a fund to pay the bills for its employees. Now, does Microsoft pay all the bills? No. That money is managed by Blue Cross Blue Shield. They just tell Blue Cross Blue Shield that, okay, we don't want to buy your insurance plan. We want you to manage our money for our employees. If we have 50,000 employees, every month we're going to put aside $1,000 for employee. So it's $5 million every month. We'll give it to you. You manage all the claims. You do everything for our employees. You give them ID cards and everything. But use money only from this fund. In those particular cases, that data is administered by some third-party administrators, the enrollment and all those things. Let me give you another example. Let's say there's a doctor. one doctor, just one doctor, he opens his clinic. Okay, he is an ear doctor or eye doctor, or let's say he's a dentist. Now he wants to send his claims, his medical bills for his patients. His patients come in, they show their ID card, insurance ID card, and they just get the treatment, they just go away. Now this doctor wants insurance company to pay the medical bills. This doctor does not have a billing department. He does not have any softwares to create EDI files. So what will he do? He will send all that data either on a piece of paper or on a hard drive or in some form to a third party administrator that, hey, can you manage all those claims for me? That third party will create EDI files on the behalf of that doctor, send it to the insurance company, get all the money and give it to the doctor. And that third party will get money for each claim, like $5 per claim or $3 per claim, something like that. These are third party administrators, or rather clearing houses. This is a clearing house, what I just said. So what I'm saying is that in healthcare industry, there are a lot of other independent vendors and entities who manage data, who manage enrollment, who manage claims, who manage a lot of things. There are many entities out there who perform audits, because health insurance companies are under constant pressure that they can get audited anytime by the government. So they want to make sure that they are completely in compliance. They have met all the rules and regulations. Everything is good. All the claims are being adjudicated exactly as per the government rules. How will they check that they are doing everything right? They bring in other third parties. There are many companies out there, third parties, and say, hey, you know what? Can you please check our data for us? They say, okay, sure. Send us your data. Send your data every day. We'll keep a close eye on it. If anything is wrong, we'll let you know. These are kind of third-party administrators out there who do perform a lot of services in the healthcare industry. That's why healthcare industry is huge. People get jobs with these healthcare companies all the time, not just insurance companies, but these third-party administrators. The candidate I was talking about the other day, who I believe got a job with a healthcare firm in Chicago, it's an auditor firm. They perform audits. Does it make sense, guys, so far? Do you know what I'm talking about, or it doesn't make sense? It can be confusing. I get that. Make sense? Doesn't make sense? What do you think? Okay. Just hang in there. I'll try to cite some more examples, and it will definitely make sense. Just hang in there, okay? Whenever this data is exchanged, sent or received, the format always is used as EDI format. Okay, the format of data is always going to be EDI. Okay, and then whenever you are exchanging data with any other entity, any external entity.
Sorry to
go ahead.
Interrupt you, Joe, here. Just want to make sure that here we are just talking about all the persons or all the companies whoever are involved in, like what type of data exchange we do and which form, right? That's the reason we are discussing all this.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes. For example, CMS, the Center for Medicare and Medicare Services, CMS. CMS will will send a letter to Cigna or Aetna, the insurance company, and say, look, you are in the healthcare business and you provide health plans in your community to millions of people, and we are the CMS. We have all these rules and regulations. Okay. We want to see your data. We want to see what you're doing. We want to see it. Send us all the data. Send us all the claims for 1 year. We want to see it. We want to see how much you're charging. We want to see if there's any fraud. Send us. So Blue Cross Blue Shield or Aetna or Cigna, whatever that health insurance company is, will send all the data. To whom? CMS. Why? Because they're getting audited. What format they will send the data? CMS might ask the data in EDI 837 file, 837 format. Just send us in 837 for 1 year. All claims, we want to see it. Or they might ask that, we want to see data in a spreadsheet. Just spreadsheet. We don't want to see EDI. We want to see a spreadsheet. Then someone has to write a SQL query. This is just one example, and I'll show you some more, don't worry. So in most of the cases, data exchange will be only in EDI format. And whenever this process of exchange of data is initiated with any other external entity, outside entity, that process is always initiated by a business analyst, you the BA. You will be responsible and initiation of, or rather establishment of this data exchange. That's why I'm discussing all this with you. You have to understand that whenever, whatever company you are working for, you're working for Blue Cross Blue Shield of California, great. Get a job with them, great. Your boss tells you that, okay, you know what, we are about to exchange data with 2 or 3 different vendors. They are some external entities. They're not part of Blue Cross Blue Shield. They're external entities. We need to exchange data with them. Your question should be, what data? Well, claims data, eligibility data, member eligibility data and all. Okay. So what do you want me to do? Work with those vendors and establish a uniform path, a uniform framework, so that both the entities can send and receive data in a specific format. What format? Go and discuss with them. So your job is to work with those external vendors and establish a very dedicated secure line first, and then now secure line is of course a networking thing, and then you need to involve your network engineers and make sure a network secure line is established. You and that vendor agree with the data format and everything, and I'll show you how it is done and what it is. But it's your responsibility. Whenever data exchange is done between 2 entities, it's always initiated and worked on by a business analyst. So please be prepared. Okay. Now let's say this. Let's look at the simple diagram. In the center, this is a big server. It's a healthcare entity. Let's call it, this is called Blue Cross Blue Shield. Blue Cross Blue Shield of California. Okay. And they have their system. It sends and receives data with different vendors, or it hasn't started sending and receiving. It wants to send and receive data with 4 different vendors. One of them is the government. One of them is some third party which manages eligibility, member enrollment. When member wants to enroll into a health plan, they manage all that. Okay. There are some agents who sell health insurance plan on the market. When the insurance plan is sold, they bring all the members to the Blue Cross Blue Shield. There are some third party agents. One of the vendors is who performs all the audits. Okay, who does the auditing work for this Blue Cross Blue Shield, and so on. So there are different entities. They say that, you know what, we want to send and receive data with you. We'll send and receive data with you. Okay, that's what we want to do. Blue Cross Blue Shield will say yes, sure. Or maybe Blue Cross Blue Shield will initiate that, okay, we want to exchange data with you. Sure. What are the next steps? Who does what? Next steps is you, the BA, will be involved. Okay. What will you do? You'll set up a meeting. You'll set up a meeting. You know what? I think I'm missing that. You'll set up a meeting with the vendor. Who's that vendor? You're working here in the middle for Blue Cross Blue Shield, and you want to exchange data with vendor A. You'll set up a meeting. You'll introduce yourself, they'll do the same and say, okay, so I believe that we will be exchanging data with you. We is, who's we? Blue Cross Blue Shield. Who are you? You are a vendor. What do you do? Well, we'll be sending you a lot of members, a lot of people who buy health insurance plan, and we will enroll those members on your system. They're buying Blue Cross Blue Shield plans through us, like Microsoft. Microsoft is, we manage eligibility and member enrollment, member plan enrollment for Microsofts and these big companies. So that's who we are. We means a vendor. You are the BA for Blue Cross Blue Shield. You guys, okay, I'm talking about you guys are business analysts for Blue Cross Blue Shield, and then you are talking with a vendor who manages member eligibility. They enroll members in the system. How do they do it? That's what your job to tell them. They say, look, okay, sure, we can do that. You can send us member data and we can enroll that in our system. Your job is to send them a companion guide. You said, okay, we will send you a companion guide. Our Blue Cross Blue Shield's companion guide. What does it look like? It looks like this. It's just an example. It's not for Blue Cross Blue Shield. This is an example I pulled off the internet. And it's some Tufts health plan, something like that. I just picked it up from the internet. It's a companion guide. You send your companion guide to that vendor. What will the vendor be sending you? Vendor will use this to send you the data. What data will he be sending? Let me repeat. You guys are the business analysts for Blue Cross Blue Shield. There is an entity out there who will be sending you member data. All the new patients who want to buy Blue Cross Blue Shield insurance. They buy it through them, through this entity. So this entity is sending you data. Okay. What data what format will they use? EDI. Which EDI? EDI 834. How does it look like? That's how it looks like. Let me increase the font size. Oh boy. Let me just copy and paste and put this in Word. I know the font size is too small. By the way, whenever you're working with EDI transactions, you will not be using Microsoft Word. You'll be using a tool like this. Okay, this is called Slick Edit. Okay, Slick Edit. For some of you, chat box doesn't work, so let me write this in the top. This is just one example. There are many. Slick Edit. Okay. Now, what is this? It's in an EDI file. This ISA segment. I think it's too much. This is one segment. You remember? This is another segment, GS segment. This is ST segment, BGN segment. These are all segments. Like what? Like EDI 837. You remember that? You remember that? Who's this? Blue Cross Blue Shield. It is being sent for Blue Cross Blue Shield. This is the receiver. Receiver of this file. Whatever is highlighted in yellow, that's a receiver. Who is sending this file? Highlighted in blue, ENS Health. ENS Health is sending you, who's you? Blue Cross Blue Shield is sending you this file. To do what? To enroll members. What do you mean by enroll members? Bring new members or new people into the health insurance plan of Blue Cross Blue Shield so that they have health coverage. So how are they sending this data? Through this EDI file. Where is the member data? Where, now, right now at this moment, he's not a patient, but he's a member. Here's the member data in red text. NM1 star IL. So this is NM101, 102, 103. What is this? Stratum. What is this for? NM104. Jason Stratum. I made this up. It's not really data. Jason Stratum data. He's a Hollywood actor, but I just made that up. What's this number? His identification number. His ID. The same number, you'll see this number on his health insurance ID card. What's this? His address. Bluefield, New York. Is a zip code. What is this? 1957, 316. March 16, 1957. Well, he's supposed to be a male. Sorry. That's his date of birth. He's a male. What kind of plan is he enrolling in? Platinum 2500. What does Platinum 2500 mean? It's the name of a plan. Platinum Blue Cross Blue Shield 2500 means deductible is 2500. Maybe. Let's assume that. We'll have to look into the plan details. But this, my point is, guys, this is the way a new member is brought into a system. A new member. Somebody buys health insurance. This is how they buy insurance. First, they are entered into the system. Once this guy is in the system, going forward, he can go to a doctor or hospital, get the treatment, and have the insurance company pay his bills. Unless he's enrolled in the system, nobody's going to pay his bills. Why? You remember why? You remember yesterday's class? Let me open that up. Just give me a second. You remember this from yesterday? They're going to validate whether this person has active coverage, yes or no. If this person does not exist in the database of the health insurance company is not going to pay his bills. So this person, once this whole file is loaded in the system successfully, this member will have an active coverage right away. This Jason guy. Now, there's some more data in this EDI file. Let's you know the text highlighted in blue? You know who is that person? His wife. Wendy Stratham. They both have the same identification number. 297887766. 297887766. Look at this. What do you see highlighted in yellow? They are the same. This one is for Jason. This one is for Wendy. Who are they? They are married. They're husband-wife. They have the same address. It doesn't need to be the same. I mean, many people are separated or whatever, or living in different cities for any reason, work-related reason, but they have the same address. What's her date of birth? 1973. 7th of January. She's a female. Now, both of them have the same identification number. How will that work? I'll show you in a second how will that work. And also, this person is in Platinum 2500 plan. She's also in Platinum 2500 plan. They both have the same plan. It's a family plan. They're bound together. You see that the identification number is the same. So they're family. So they can take any ID card to the hospital? No. Jason has his own ID card, Wendy has her own ID card. So how does it look different? Names are different. What else? Family position is different. Look at this. REFQQ, REF02. The value is 1. What do you mean by 1? What do you mean by 1?
Principal applicant subscriber.
Yes, perfect. Notice the 1 and 2. 1 means he's a primary subscriber. 2 is it's a spouse. 3 is child. 4th is another child. It doesn't necessarily need to be in that order, but 1 is the primary subscriber. 2 is one of the dependents. Mostly, in most of the cases, it's a spouse, wife. 3 is one child, 4 is another child, 5 is another child, and so on. So when they go to a doctor's clinic or hospital or a dental clinic to get the treatment, they just show their respective own ID cards. Jason's card says 297887766, family position 1. I'm the primary subscriber. Wendy goes, her ID card says the same number, but it says 02. That means she's a spouse. Hospital will know right away that she's a spouse on a family plan. They will create an EDI 837 accordingly. That will have 2 loops, one for subscriber, one for patient. Jason is the subscriber, Wendy is the patient. Does it make sense, guys? You with me so far? This data is meant for Blue Cross Blue Shield. It's coming from ENS Health. And these are 2 different members who just bought a plan. Now, once this file is loaded in the system, these people have active coverage right away. Next time they go to a doctor or hospital, they are eligible to get their treatments paid off by the insurance company. Does it make sense so far? What do you think, guys?
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead, please.
So whenever the third-party vendor sends this EDI file in 834 format to the insurance company, so will they automatically be enrolled to an insurance plan, or I mean, the insurance company will have to review it and approve it? How does it work?
Well, no, they won't review it. No. When the file comes in, it gets loaded automatically into the system, and members are enrolled. If any record fails, let's say half of the information is missing like this, it's incomplete, okay, or there are some special characters here like this which are not allowed, the file will fail. So the vendor will get an error log file, will get a response file which will show, okay, you send 400 records. Out of 400 records, 3 have failed due to these reasons. Please fix the file and resend it. So vendor will be required to fix those 3 members and send it. That will require manual intervention. But this file, when received by the health insurance company, will it be reviewed? No. But before you start exchanging file with this entity who will be sending this, you will have to do a lot of testing. And I'll show you what exactly we'll be doing. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. And one more thing. So they send us the data. So as a business analyst, do we manage, I mean, we just receive it, right? Or we have to keep it, store it, and manage it somehow? Do we manage it or no?
No. No. Your job is to make sure that this vendor is sending the data in the right format every day. Your job is to make sure that once this setup is complete, your job is almost done. Your job is done. Your job is to make sure that this vendor complies with your format. Now you must be wondering, this is 834. it's the same all across the United States. Well, yes, it is, but there are still some restrictions. Every company has some variations in this file, and I'll show you what they are. So your job is to make sure then this vendor, this ENS Health, will be sending this file. Now remember this file will be coming in every day. There are new members being added every day, new members being terminated every day. So this file will be coming every day. So before they start sending this file, your job is to make sure that they are sending in the right format, they are sending the right data, they are not messing up anything. And once they start sending it, your job is almost done. Unless any record fails and then somebody brings you in, you have to do some research and then advise the vendor why this record is not loading. Out of 500 records, why 2 records did not load? Your job is to make them understand why did they not load. How will you do it? Well, you have to do some research, due diligence, and I'll show you how it is done. Write SQL queries, go from one screen to another screen, all that stuff. Does it make sense? Does it answer your question?
Yeah.
Your job is not to check this file every day. That I can tell you, because this file will be coming in every day and will be sometimes thousands of records. You cannot see everything. Your job is just to make sure that this process is initiated and this vendor and your company are sending and receiving data smoothly. That's it. So this is EDI 834. Very simple. Trust me. This is all it is. Just like this, there will be repetition of these members on and on and on. If there are 1,000 members, you will see 1,000 times this. That's it. So this is EDI 834. Now, before this vendor starts sending you EDI 834, you will tell them that, look, this is our companion guide. You see on top left, companion guide. This is our companion guide for 834. Okay, these are all the definitions. NM1 means member name, PER means member communication numbers, DMG means member demographics. You see here, DMG is demographics. She's a female, her date of birth is this. So, okay, N3 means street address, N4 means city, state and zip code. These are the name of the segments. These are the loops. So you will send them this document, you the BA, will send this companion guide to the vendor, and vendor will look at it and vendor will see that, okay, so this is the ISS segment. This is ISS 01. This is R means required. And the plans use 00. Okay, so what it means is ISS 01. This is ISS 01. This is 00. Great. And then ISS 03 is also 00. And then ISS 7 is 01. It's also required. ISS 7 is 01. Let's see. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5, 6, and then 7. They're using ZZ. Sure, this is a dummy file. I created this on my own. But what they're expecting is something like this. Okay. And then, sorry. So this is what it is. I mean, this is how companion guide looks like. What you are telling, Blue Cross Blue Shield is telling the vendor is that, okay, 834 is a standard file. Everybody in the industry uses it. But there are certain fields in which we prefer certain data. There are certain fields which are required. There are certain fields, for example, this is situational. Okay, it's not required. In these cases, when it's not required, in these cases, you will see 2 asterisks like this. Where is it? Like this. You see all these asterisks? That means it's situational. It's not required. There's no data in there. These are some of the situations. So you are, when you send this companion guide to that vendor, you are telling them that this is how we expect you to prepare an 834 file and send it to us. Anything different will be rejected by our system. This is your job. Alright guys, your job is to tell them that this is our format, this is what we do. You don't have to go through each and every field. You just have to tell them that this is our companion guide. Please use this companion guide to prepare an 834 file for us. So for example, look at this, BGN08. You are telling them that these are the only accepted values. 2 is for change, RX is for full, 4 is for verify. BGN08. Let's see what BGN08 says. So this is BGN. So BGN, this is 01, 02, 03, 04, 05, 06, 07, 08. 08 is RX. What does this say? BGN08 RX. RX means full file. Full file means you will send list of all the members every day. Every day. Even if there are only 2 new members being added to the plan, you will send a full file. Change file means if there are only 2 members being added to the plan, just send us those 2 members. That's a change file or delta file. Full file means send us all the members every day no matter what. If there's no change, fine, just send it. Okay. QTY01 is the accepted values are DT, ET and TO. QTY01. What is QTY01? Do we have that? QTY01. Oh, ET. See? So this companion guide is something. No, you don't prepare this. Don't get me wrong. You don't prepare this. It's already created. Your job is to set up a meeting with the vendor and tell them, look, you will be sending us 834 starting 1st of June. We have 13 days left to make sure you, the vendor, meets our regulations or meets our rules to prepare your 834 file and send us an 834 file so that we can accept it, load it in our system, and then you're good. Member is enrolled. So prepare a test file first. Use these rules, prepare a test file. This is what we expect. INS08 will have only these values. It's situational. If you don't want to send it, that's fine. You won't reject it. REF01 is IL. Sorry, 1L. Okay. You're telling them that, okay, this N301 is the address. N302 is address. N401 is city. N402 is state, postal code, country code, qualifiers. All this information. Does it make sense, guys? So when you send this file to the vendor, oh boy, you send their companion guide to the vendor, they will make sure that they will prepare the file according to your rules, according to your standards. They'll prepare a test file. They will send it to you, the BA. You will run it through test system. Everything works fine. You say, yo, you know what? Data is good. File is good. Let's send it to production. Start sending the file in production. You'll do the testing. But before testing, you may have to do some data mapping, which I'll explain in a different class. Data mapping is something which is pending. I'll tell you, don't worry. So you have to work with the vendors. You have to rectify errors. If they send an 834 file, this 834 file, but it's not according to your standards. You were expecting ET here, but they send XY. The file will fail. The file will fail. Or what if they send these 2 members, Jason and Wendy, and both of their ID numbers are same, their family position is also same. Both are 1. How is it possible? How can 2 people be subscribers? It's not possible. Will the system accept this file? No, it will reject it. Why? Because it has been programmed in such a way that it will accept only 01 and 02, 03, 04 and so on for the members of the same family. Does it make sense, guys? If there are any errors, you tell them what the errors are. You do all the testing. You have this vendor prepare the file according to your standards. What are the standards? The standards highlighted in companion guide. I'll share this example with you. It's just an example from the internet. Tufts health plan or something like that. Instead of sending the Tufts health plan, you'll be sending the Blue Cross Blue Shield's companion guide. They send a test file, you run it through test system, everything works fine, sure. If it doesn't work, something is wrong, you tell them this is wrong. They'll ask, what's wrong? Well, you know what? You send both the family positions as one or person code as one. They cannot be more than one subscriber in the family. Fix it and send it. They fix it, they send it, you retest it. If it works fine, great. Doesn't work fine, you send it back. You do all that testing.
So, what kind of testing do we do? Like just manual testing?
Yeah, manual testing, yes. You take this file and drop it in the eligibility system. Just drop a file somewhere. Not anywhere, but there's a specific place. Who will tell you? Well, the enrollment team. They'll tell you that, take this file, take the test file and drop it here. And wait for the results. It will process the file and it will tell you total number of records 500, successfully processed 497, rejected 3 claims or 3 records. Reason number 1, invalid person code. Record number 2, invalid country code or zip code. Reason number 3, and so on. You pass that information back to the vendor, have them fix it, resend the file, you test it. Doesn't work, you send it back. It goes back and forth. You keep testing until and unless all the errors are fixed. Unless you have a perfect file. Once you have a perfect file, everything is good. You said, look, going forward, starting 1st of June, you can drop the file to our production server, production system directly. You have our permission because our network engineers and your network engineers will work together, establish a secure connection between you and us. You can keep sending files. And once you're sending files every day, you don't have to worry about it. If maybe once in a while, sometimes the files fails again, you will be pulled in, you the BA, and you will see what's going on. Oh, something is wrong. Oh, same thing. They made the same mistake again. So you call the vendor and say, hey, you know what? Something you fixed up, messed up something. The person code for both the members in the same family is 1. There cannot be 2 subscribers. Please fix it. After production. This is after production. That's also your job. But on a daily basis, are you supposed to look out for this file or save this file or fix this file every day? No. Your job is just to make the vendor understand that this is your companion guide, this is the format, this is the structure, this is what we expect. Please build the file according to our standards. If it says required field, the field needs to be there. If it says situational, you can skip it. If it says it's a required field and the data should be XY, make sure it's always XY.
What does XY mean, sir?
Oh, I'm just making some example. I mean, I just made that up, just like this, like QTY 01 is supposed to be ET, or is supposed to be XY. You just tell them that this has to be XY. Or this NM101 is IL. You just tell them, oh, it has to be IL. You change it to a J something. Yeah, it won't work. It won't work. The file will fail. It will say invalid qualifier in segment number so and so. Does it make sense, guys?
Sir, what's the name of that testing tool where you upload these EDI files?
There's no testing tool. You just drop the file in the membership portal. Okay, you just drop the file in membership portal or member eligibility portal. It's a portal where you just upload the file and it just processes it automatically. It's not a tool. It's not an off-the-shelf tool which companies use. Companies have their own developed system based on these companion guide. If you're working for Blue Cross Blue Shield, they have this member portal which is designed according to this standard. That's why you are sending this standard out to your vendors, that this is our standard, this is how we have programmed our membership portal. Make sure when you send a file, it's according to this standard. Does it make sense? It was a good question, by the way.
Yes.
The programmers or developers have built the system according to this standard. That's what you are telling the vendor, that please build the system, please build the file according to this standard, because our system understands only this standard. All right. So, Persis, can you please make font size larger? Oh, larger for this? Sure. Okay. NM104 is the first name. NM103 is the last name. Look at that. NM104. NM103 is the last name. NM104 is the first name. What is the NM109? NM109 is the identification code. This is the identification code.
S stands for situational.
Yeah, S stands for situational.
Okay.
S
So
means,
these guide is pretty much the same as the link you shared with us, right?
yes, you're right. Yeah, you can use this or the link. This is the companion guide for 834. I shared the link with you for 837. Yeah, but there are companion guides for even 837 too. I can share that with you if you want. Okay, this is look at this. DMG03 is the gender code. What is DMG03? And DMG04 is marital status code. DMG, this is DMG01, DMG02, DMG03. This is married. This is marital status. What is I? I don't know. It says I, and his wife says M. Wife says she's married, but the guy says I'm not married. I don't know what they're doing, but it should be married here too. Make sense, guys? Now, it's not over yet. So you set up a meeting, you exchange the companion guide, or you send the companion guide, you do some data mapping, you may have to. In what case, I'll tell you. And then you work with the vendors, make sure they send the test file. Test file fails, you tell them how to rectify the errors. You test it. I think this should come first. What was I thinking? You do testing, you help them with rectification. Anything goes wrong in production, you help them out. Make sense? So far so good? Make sense? Doesn't make sense? What do you think? Now, what kind of errors could you face? I just need 5 more minutes of your time. 5, 7 minutes. That's it. Just pay very close attention. This is very important, and this could be an interview question. Okay. Many times, many things I discuss within my classes or during my classes, I try to highlight at the same point that this could be an interview question. So you need to pay extra attention to those topics, because when they ask you something related to data exchange error rectification, these are some of the examples you could cite in your interview, and that will be very, very helpful. Trust me. Now the question is, somebody might ask you that, okay, when some vendor sends you an 834 file and it fails, so what kind of some errors have you faced, and how have you rectified those errors, or how have you advised the vendor to fix those errors and send it? What are some of the errors have you faced? Common examples can be data format. Data format is wrong. Like what? Well, look at this. This is a date of birth. I think we have too many highlights now. Just let's just drop it. Look at this. Where is that? DTP. Look at this date. And there's another date. And there's another date. These are all dates. Okay. This is 2016 1/1, 1st of January 2016. What if they send the data in this format? Like 1/1/2016. System will say 0101 is an invalid year. It's a wrong data. System is not going to accept it. Or somebody says 2073, 2073, 7th of January. System will say this data is in future. How were you born in 2073? How is that possible? It should be 1973. So data format is wrong. I mean, format in this case is wrong. Here, data integrity is compromised. The integrity of data is just wrong. If you in your name have special characters, let's say like this, it's a data integrity issue. System will not accept it. So if the format of the data is wrong, data of the integrity is not accurate, well, guess what? Data will not load. This record will not load. This member will not have any healthcare coverage in the system, because this record failed to load. Does it make sense? So any change or any modification in the data format, any modification in the integrity of the data, you are compromising, or rather you're not compromising, sorry, but you are facing a definite failure to load your data or to load your record in the system. It's definite. What if this is a gender, right? Female. What if somebody sends 6? Or what if somebody sends 4 or 3? It's supposed to be an alphabet, either male or female. How can you send 3? How can you send 4? Wrong. These are some of the errors you will face. What else? What other kinds of errors can you face? Timing. Let me give you an example. Let's say this woman or this family goes to the hospital. Okay. And They get the treatment. They get the treatment and they go back home. They go to the hospital again, get the treatment, go back home. Sorry, they go to the hospital, they get the treatment, and pay whatever is the billed amount. They just pay it. They go again and they pay it. Their deductible is $2,500. It's platinum $2,500 deductible. They think their premium is too high, or they don't like their plan. In middle of the year, they don't like their plan. They think, what, we don't like this plan. We want to change. We want to go to some other plan. And they change their plan. They change their plan, and next time they go to the hospital or doctor, get the treatment, doctor says, you still haven't met your deductible. They said, no, we have. We called the insurance company. We said, we don't like this plan. Change our plan. Doctor says, nope, your plan was not changed. We don't see anything in the system. You call your health insurance company and say, hey, you know what? We changed our plan, but our doctor is saying that you don't see any of the changes. What's going on? We changed our plan in middle of the year. Why does it still stay platinum 2500? We don't like this plan. Or, maybe this may not be the good example. Let me give you some more accurate example. Let's say this family goes to a doctor or a hospital, gets the treatment, everything is fine, and then they want to go to some more expensive doctor or hospital. And when they try to schedule an appointment, doctor says, you know what, we are not in your network. We are a very expensive hospital, we are not in your network. You are in a very cheaper plan, we cannot accept you. We can give you treatment, but you will have to pay out of pocket. Your insurance will not cover this. So this family says, okay, you know what, we'll upgrade our plan. They call the insurance company, they upgrade their plan. Or they call the vendor, they upgrade their plan. Now they go back to the hospital and say, to this more expensive hospital and say, you know what, we upgraded our plan, now give us a treatment. They give the treatment, but at the time of billing, insurance company refuses to pay the bill. And then this couple will say, oh, you hold on, we upgraded our plan, we were supposed to get treatments at this more expensive hospital, we like this hospital, we are paying extra, we are in a more expensive plan, why our claims are getting denied? So the technical team will do some research. Who's the technical team? You. You'll write some queries. You'll take this family's member identification number, write a SQL query, see what the plan they are enrolled in. It says platinum 2500. But this family says, hey, we changed our plan. You'll say, I don't see that in our system. So you'll call the vendor. You'll say, this Stratham family says that they upgraded their plan, but we don't see that change in our system. What do you think is going on? Vendor says, oh, we made the change in the file and we have been sending you that file. Were there any failures? He said, well, we didn't look for any failures. Well, of course, you should have look for the failures in your file every day. Vendor has to look for those errors in their file every day. You, the BA, won't, but they have to. And then they notice, even though they were sending the change to this family, that was not being loaded in the system because of some other error. Maybe because they messed up the gender. Even though they changed the plan to diamond plan, but they messed up something else. So this record never successfully loaded in the system. Whose system? Health insurance company system. So for health insurance company, Blue Cross Blue Shield, this family is still under the old plan. They haven't moved on to the new plan yet. Why? Because even though the file had the updates, file never loaded successfully. Does it make sense, guys? Or is it too complicated for you? What do you think? Does it make sense to you? What do you think, guys? Yes, no, maybe. Do you want me to repeat? Akshay says yes. What about others? Does it make sense? Doesn't make sense?
Yes.
Let me give you a short form. Anytime any change needs to be made to the member profile or the patient profile, any upgrade to a plan, downgrade to a plan. Let's say this person gets married and changes her last name. Okay, at this point they both have the same last name, but let's say she changes her last name. Any change has to be made, will be communicated through this file. This file has to be loaded successfully every time. If this file does not get loaded successfully, the changes will not be reflected in the system, and system will act according to whatever is in the system. So if this family upgrades to a different plan and goes to a hospital and gets denied, and they think that, hey, you know what, or rather they claim, they say, you know what, we upgraded our plan and we are not being treated as per the new plan. What's going on? Well, this file was being sent, but was never being loaded because of some errors. So it's vendor's responsibility to look into this file every day and fix the file. Interesting part is, you, the BA, can also get a job as a vendor. In that case, you have to check the file. So going back to your last question, that are we supposed to see this file every day? Well, if you're receiving it, then no. File comes in, gets loaded automatically, everything runs smoothly. But if you are on the sending end, then yes. Because you're a BA, you can work on either side, vendor or Blue Cross Blue Shield.